So we're at the final part of the assignments that are connected to auto layout module. And we already covered a couple of things of how to create this card, how to create this table that scales really responsively like this. And let's now go into kind of using everything that we learned and building an auto layout for a UI card like this one. One thing that I can notice that definitely it's basically just using our default font, so we don't have to worry about that. It's going to be Enter. And I can also see that this photo is then going to have to scale. This text might go into multiple lines, I'm not sure. And this one definitely is going to trim. So if there's enough space, all the text is going to be shown. If the width of the card is a little bit smaller, it means that the text will be trimmed. I also see a couple of avatars in here, nested one onto each other, and a little button. There's also a tag on the top. So there's a couple of things, and we need to kind of first build the smallest elements of this auto layout and then build from there. So I'm going to start with a little button. Learn more. I feel like the font size is probably a little bit smaller, something like this. Because of that, I'm also going to change the line height. I'm going to turn it into an auto layout by hitting Shift A. I'm going to change the sizing a little bit in here, maybe something like that. There's a fill, and there's some roundness to the corners in here. Okay, looks good. Might not be perfect. I think left and right might be a little bit bigger, but overall it's there. Next thing are the avatars. So we can definitely use Unsplash or content reel to kind of fill these items that we have in here. So I'm just going to search for content reel, and I'm going to place in some avatars like this. In here, I'm going to use Unsplash, and I'm going to search for some architecture photos, maybe, no, interior. Looks similar, might not be that one. Oh, perfect, it's this one. So I'm going to add that in, and I think we have our building blocks there. So one thing I can see is definitely if I create an auto layout in here, that it's going to be some negative padding in here, and also all of the child elements. So I just hit enter to enter into the auto layout and basically select all of the child elements of that auto layout. I'm going to add a stroke as well. The stroke is going to be white like this. I think two of those are going to be inside one auto layout like this. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger for now, but I'm also probably going to switch it to space between. So you can see that as these things resize, everything stays in place. Okay, so we need to add a title, luxurious living room. It's a bit bigger, something like this, maybe even medium. Usually with bigger titles, I do like to add some negative character spacing to it. And then we also have some smaller text, maybe even smaller than that. So I'll just use something like the button text I had in here. Honestly, it might be 16 now when I'm looking at it. This living room is uniquely designed and combines exquisite furniture made by veteran designers. Okay, let's grab these two items. Oh, sorry. These two items and turn them into an auto layout. Maybe something like this. Let's put all of them to fill containers so that when I resize this, they also resize. I can definitely see that the line height in here is something smaller. Okay. And now I can grab all three items and turn them into an auto layout. There's gonna be some padding, but only on the bottom, like this. And most likely to the left and right as well. Might be the same, like 24, 24, 24. Ooh, one thing that's not correct is the fact that that also adds auto padding to the photo. So I'm gonna reset it back, and then I'm gonna go inside, and I'm actually gonna create an auto layout out of these two items in here and add some padding to them. Now, when we actually make this fill container, you can see that there's padding on the left and right side of these items, but the photo doesn't have any padding. I'm gonna go in here, make this fill container, go in here, make this fill container, make all of the items inside fill container. I'm also going to go inside of this one, and I'm going to try to figure out how to make it work with only 3 lines of text. So on some of the smaller widths, it's still going to work. And I'm going to go into additional settings in here with text, change it to truncation. And basically what I need to do is figure out how high the layer is if it has only 3 lines of text. It's actually the size that we have in here, but if for some reason you don't have it at that, you can always take the line height and multiply it by the number of lines that you want to have. So 3, and that's 72. Now, when I resize this, this is working, but this is still not working. Let's try to figure out why. One of the things that we have in here is all of these items have hug. That should be fine. This should be fixed. This is hug. All of these items, hug, 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 perfect. And hug contents is on. Let's add the radius to this card. Like this. And let's also add a fill. And let's add a shadow. So I think that all of those things are working. One thing that's not working for us is the fact that this is at fill container, this is set to fill container. This is set to hug contents, not fill container. That's why. Okay, so that's already working better. One thing that still feels off to me is maybe the font size in here. Yes, okay, so that was the problem why I didn't have it work like that. Okay, perfect. So if it's wider, it's working. If it's smaller, it's trimming the text and it's also working. The final element that we need to add, I can just base it on the button that we have in here. Is going to be this. I'm just going to set this to maybe something like black, add some opacity to it. 10% seems okay. There's going to be a white text in here. It's going to have a soft shadow so that it's a little bit more legible because it's on a photo, and that's never a good thing. But also if the photo is a little bit lighter, this might be a little bit less legible. So I just want to account for that. Let's turn it into 12K views. That's awesome. It's a little bit smaller than a button. Something like that. And there's also a background blur because you can see that the text is very legible even though it's on a photo. The final thing that we need to do is turn on absolute positioning for this element and kind of figure out where to place it. I thought that I had clip content on, but maybe not. And I can also change this to maybe 20. That feels a little bit better. Oh, sorry. And I think that the auto layout top and bottom is more like this. yeah, the only thing that we need to kind of figure out, and it's already by default set to top left, is that it's going to be positioned there. If you wanted it positioned here with auto layout, you can change the settings from left and top to right and top, and then when you resize this element, it stays on the right side. Even though it's the position is obsolete, it still takes constraints into account. But we don't want it. We want it to be set to left and top. Awesome, it's working. And the final assignment before moving to the final module assignment is now complete. You're now fully equipped and ready to solve one of the hardest module assignments that we have prepared for you.